Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from the New York Post. Let's see, this is dated February 15th, and it is from Douglas Murray, who is someone that I recommend everybody listen to or read because the man is extremely smart and knows what he's talking about. And this article, again, is from February 15th, says, Shameful Biden tries to reward Hamas terror with a Palestinian state. Yeah, this is not going to go very well if that happens. So let's go ahead and see what Mr. Murray has to say here. Excuse me, not cutting that out. It's amazing how long bad ideas take to die. That's certainly the case with one of the least successful ideas in the world, the idea of the two-state solution in the Middle East. How do we know it's unsuccessful? Because it has been tried for decades and never works. And yes, the Palestinians have rejected two-state solution every single time it has been brought up. Okay, so I think it's 5 or 6 times, something like that. So yeah, it doesn't work. It says generations of U.S. presidents have wasted energy on the idea, all based on a falsehood, which is the idea that a two-state solution would unlock the problems of the Middle East. In this song, sung by Republicans and Democrats alike, if the Palestinian people had another state, then all the other problems in the Middle East would be solved. The economy of Yemen would suddenly bloom. The Ayatollahs in Iran would suddenly grant equal rights to women, and there'd be gay pride in Saudi Arabia. It's a fairy tale, of course. None of the rest of the Arab world gives a damn about the Palestinians. That's 100% correct. They don't care. Okay, why do you think even Egypt is reinforcing their wall with Gaza right now, and that they didn't want any of the refugees or anything like that? Like, trying to figure this one out. It says, most actively hate them, and that was kind of the next thing I was planning on talking about, but the article says it. The seeing them is bringing terror wherever they go, as the Palestinians did when they went to Jordan, Egypt, Tunisia, and Lebanon, just to name a few. And yeah, if you just want to see what the Palestinians do, go look at Lebanon in like the 1970s and go look at it now. That's all I need to say. It says, besides which, the Palestinians doggedly refused a state every time they were offered one. And they refused in 1948 and every other time right up to 2000. Then in 2005, the Israelis effectively gifted the Palestinians a state in Gaza when the Israeli government forced every Jew out of the area and handed the strip over to the Palestinians. And what did the Palestinians do with their new state? Well, they voted in Hamas, who then had a coup and spent 18 years taking U.S. taxpayer dollars to build a terror state from which they invaded Israel again last year. It says, after October 7th, after October 7th, who on earth could believe it is a good idea for the Palestinians to be given another state? This is, well, our government for one. Douglas Murray is not American. He is British, so is he an American citizen? Maybe? Okay. I didn't realize that, but if he is, okay, cool. But anyway, that just took me off guard for a second. It's because our government, his would be UK, not the United States, but maybe he's a citizen. I just don't know it. Because ever since the atrocities of October 7th, Joe Biden and Secretary of State Antony Blinken have been insisting that now is just the time to double down on the two-state solution. It's like watching an alcoholic trying to recover from a hangover by having the first drink of the morning. It's a good analogy. It says within a month of the October attacks, President Biden published a piece in the Washington Post, which, is basically just state-run media, but okay. It says in which he said, as we strive for peace, Gaza and the West Bank should be reunited under a single governance structure, ultimately under a revitalized Palestinian Authority, as we all work towards a two-state solution. But why? Why, after Palestinians had carried out the most brutal day of terror since the creation of the State of Israel, should they be rewarded with a state? And why should it be governed by the Palestinian Authority? Yeah, the first part is like, you did something bad, so we're going to reward you for doing that bad thing. Like, what's going to make them, do you think that's going to make them stop doing what they're doing? They've already come out and said that even if they did get a state, they wouldn't stop trying to erase Israel. So what's this going to do exactly? And the Palestinian Authority is still basically a terrorist organization. So there's that. It says the PA is about as likely to be revitalized as is President Biden. Nice. It is a totally corrupt entity, which is correct, which siphons off international funds to impoverish the Palestinian people and make the leadership rich. Yep. It is led by the 88-year-old Mahmoud Abbas, whose 4-year term in office started in 2005. Now, for those of you mathematicians out there, you can probably guess that 2024 minus 2005 is a little more than 4 years. So it says, eagle-eyed readers will notice that this means that Abbas is currently approaching the 20th anniversary of his 4-year term. Reminds me of an old Transformers comic book. I think it was issue 80 of the original Marvel run, because the Transformers series started as a 4-issue miniseries, and it was so popular that the Marvel was just like, no, let's keep this going. And it got to issue 80 when it was canceled, and it wasn't a banner, but there was a thing on top of the logo that said number 80 in a 4-issue limited series. So that's just kind of, I don't know, that's why I thought of that. Sorry, I'm a geek. So it says, let me see if I'm in the right place here. Okay. So one reason is that if there were elections in the West Bank today, Hamas would win because the Palestinians in the West Bank are as supportive of Hamas as are the Palestinians in Gaza. And like Hamas, they satisfy their desire for violence by using international funds to reward the families of Palestinians who killed Jews in acts of terror. So this payment scheme increases depending on the number of Jews you've killed. Nice partner for peace there. Yeah, I mean, that again, this is who you want to, this is who everybody wants to make peace with, okay? People who basically pay you for killing other people, regardless of what they are. Says, does Biden not know this? It appears not. In November last year, Biden said, we need to renew our resolve to pursue this two-state solution. 2 states for 2 peoples is important now. It's more important now than ever. Nope, it's out the window. The Secretary of State is just as bad as singing the same outdated refrain. It was on October 8th, as terrorists were still running wild across the south of Israel, Blinken told CBS, we think the best way to resolve the conflict remains a 2-state solution. It's because you're a dumbass. Because a month later, he could be found claiming that a 2-state solution was the only way to end a cycle of violence. It's absolutely not, and I think anybody with half a brain knows that, but okay. So by the time he was in Davos in January, Blinken was telling the New York Times that creating a Palestinian state would solve all the problems of the region, including, bizarrely, regional instability caused by Iran. So by the end of January, Blinken was reported to have ordered a State Department to review options for American recognition of a Palestinian state. In recent weeks, Blinken has been sending out his British counterpart, that's Lord Cameron, to bang on about the creation of a Palestinian state. He was doing it in Washington this week. Cameron is clearly acting as Blinken's warm-up act. Blinken recently boasted that he was in Ramallah with Mahmoud Abbas to reiterate U.S. support for reforming the PA and establishing an independent Palestinian state, but such a policy is an embarrassment. Yes, and it should never happen. Says Israeli politicians of left, right, and center have told me in recent months, even if you believe that the Palestinians should be given another state, now is not the time to discuss it. To push for a 2-state solution now is to say to the Palestinians, you carried out a horrific terror attack on October 7th, and as a reward, you'll be given another state. I wonder how many more terror attacks will come about by incentivizing terror this way. Yeah, isn't this just a larger version of, hey, if you kill Jews, we're gonna pay you for that? I mean, this is essentially what this is, just a larger version. So, but the other reason why it is so wicked is that since 2005, we know what a Palestinian state in the West Bank would look like. It would not just be one more failed Arab state. It would be another Palestinian terror state, one which had views over the entirety of Israel and where the rockets could this time easily hit Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Ben Gurion Airport. So long as the Palestinians celebrate terror, encourage terror, and pay for terror, they should not have another state. 2 states, it's not a solution, it's part of the problem. Yep, perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Douglas Murray is spot on. This is kind of a primer on some of the things that are going on in that area right now, just like it says about Mahmoud Abbas, who is essentially a dictator in the Palestinian Authority, which is basically just another, like, if I say moderate, don't take that the wrong way. They're not moderates. They are hardliners, but they're less hardline than Hamas, but still bad. A 2-state solution is not going to fix anything over there. It never was going to. It's at this point, it's just wipe out Hamas and figure out what to do after that. That's how I feel. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.